Dogs fans, and welcome to the fourth edition of the Watch Dogs official podcast. I'm your host, Nick Schmidt, community developer for Watch Dogs. I'm joined today by Kim Belair, who's also a community developer.
Hey.
Hey, Kim. And today we have the pleasure of sitting down with what I would call the artists of Watch Dogs. So I'll just go a quick round around the table and let you guys introduce yourselves, and then we'll get this started.
Hi guys, my name is Mathieu Ledzuc, and I'm one of the two art directors on the project.
Hey guys, this is Jeffrey Ariola. I'm the production manager of the World Team. I manage both the level artists and level designers and make sure that everyone has fun in the sandbox.
Hi guys, I'm Sidonie Weber. I'm an art director. I was in charge of the setting in Watchdog.
Hi everyone, my name is Danny Marcoux. I'm one of the assistant art director on Watchdog, and I mostly work on the world and make sure that the quality of the art direction is quite good.
All right. So I want to start this off with a Twitter question this time, because I was trying to get prepared for this podcast, and there's people that were sending us questions over Twitter, and this first one I think was a good way to start. So let's just start with this one. It's Lee Harris at the Vox of Lee who asks, how did the artists, that's you guys, get the look and the inspiration for the main character, Aiden Pierce?
Aiden. Wow, Aiden was a long process. I think Aiden changed a lot narratively. Also, from what I remember, throughout the years, he's gone through a lot of changes. But as far as I can remember, I know that we wanted somebody that was inconspicuous, somebody that was anonymous, a little bit anonymous. Somebody that wanted to blend into the crowd, but at some point that became a problem also, because you want somebody that blends in the crowd, but you also want somebody that's iconic. That's somebody that players will recognize anywhere on the street, or somebody that gets out a bit of the crowd,
And you can do the hoodie.
No, the hoodie has been done so many times so far. So we explored a lot of stuff, a lot of concept art, back and forth, and at some point, we stumbled onto the mask, the other ingredients, and we mixed it up all together. We have this little process, this little cool process that each and every characters that we developed in the game, at least the main characters, for all the main characters, we also draw we draw them in Lego style, using all the little Lego concept, just to nail down all the iconic features of the characters. It's a great way to nail down the important aspects of the characters.
So you draw them as Lego, you make them as Lego.
You start with the full blown concept art, but after that you draw them as a Lego character.
Really?
Yeah. So you nail down every iconic aspect, iconic features, and you can see already, do they distinguish themselves? Do they pop up? Can you recognize them at this state? It really helps, and I think it helped every characters to become iconic, and they became they had a good distinction between every other characters on the game because of that process.
Okay, and was it the same process for other characters? Let's say Clara, that we've seen in trailers recently.
Yeah. I think we have a little bit more than 12 main characters, and each and every one of them went through that process.
They all have their little Lego figurines.
And I still want my little T-shirt with all the
Legos?
The Lego players, the characters.
When you're designing characters, because you mentioned how Aiden's look changes and you try to find those iconic elements. Who would you say is the character who changed the most from the original incarnation to the last?
Beside Aiden, or?
Yeah, besides Aiden.
Because Aiden is probably the one that changes. It's normal because he's the main character.
Yeah.
It's so important, so he went through a lot of changes. But beside Aiden, I would say maybe Clara. Clara has gone through a lot of changes also. She went from blonde, she went a little bit on the gothic style.
The character evolved.
Yeah, at some point she was a bit too dark, so we bring her a little bit more into the ink girl, somebody a little bit more contemporary, more grounded into the urban street style ink girl that we see today.
And Georgie probably is the one who changed the less.
Yeah, it's Jordy.
Really?
Yeah.
You nailed that one from the beginning?
Yeah, mostly yes.
So far, it's-
iconic from the beginning.
Yeah,
he
from
is.
the beginning was okay.
I'd say so far he's pretty much my favorite character in
He's
the
so
game.
funny.
Yeah,
I
same.
love Jordy.
Like immediately, like from seeing the art and then getting to play a bit of the game, like I had kind of already made some assumptions about who he would be, and then actually when it was in the game, I was like, man, this guy is fantastic, really good.
He's funny, and he's a good example of when you create a good character, you play with contrast also. So it's always about surprising players.
Yeah.
So you look at Jordy and you think he's gonna talk away or he's gonna say something, but as soon as he opens his mouth, it's something funny comes out. So he's really, you attach yourself to him because there's a nice contrast.
Yeah.
To him.
He's the kind of like Jan Solo on the game. So the kind
Oh,
the
true.
kind of guy who
Yeah.
playing like the humor.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I just want to go back really quickly. You talked about Clara being, aside from Aiden, being the character that changed most from the beginning of the concept to what she looks like now. Were these changes based solely on look, or were they driven by narrative?
They've been first driven by narrative. 'Cause
Okay.
She also like changed a little bit in the script throughout the years, but once when she went solid in the script, she also like changed it a bit
Okay.
like visually also like so.
All right, cool. You talked a bit about concept art in your explanation of the inspiration for Aiden, and this brings me to a question that I always ask myself, and I'm sure a lot of fans do. Concept art is very popular for fans. They love seeing it. They love getting new concept art that they've never seen before. But where does it actually start and end? What's the like the implement like? Basically, you do a concept art. Are you based out of something, or do you just go freely? And basically, how does it translate the
I
game?
can explain. First, there's a deep research for reference. It takes months and months to find the best reference. After we did a lot mood board to get with the best ideas to get real inspiration. And at the end, with a very talented concept artist, we start the concept art. So, and it's a long process. But first, we need a lot of reference.
And there's different type of concept art
Okay.
also. That there's some that are done really quickly just to get ideas done
Okay.
and get on the ideas on the table.
Come like
With
a
the
brainstorm, basically.
brainstorm, but also like to put everything out there as also for the narrative team, like to like because it doesn't always comes from the narrative team. Like,
Okay.
sometimes it's a teamwork. Like we pitch ideas. Some concept art
Yeah,
are done
alright.
really quickly just to get those out. Some concept art are really done like they take time and they make it really like nice and they polish it like it's a nice illustration. Those are when the concept has been like crystallized. There's different kind of concept art, and there's also like chemistry. Like depends on the art director versus who's the concept art is like different. Sometimes there's different chemistry and different way of working.
Okay.
With different art director and different concept artists. Sometimes the concept artist likes to get as much as reference possible,
Okay.
and then they draw. Some concept artists helps the art director to just do a deep research and find themselves their research and the references, and then they propose stuff. Like it's always different chemistry. Like
All right.
And by the way, we did a collaboration with Titan Books
Okay.
to put all the concept art in.
I know. I was going to talk about it later, but if we want to talk about it a bit now, because I've seen some sketches and I haven't seen the book yet. I don't think it's been printed yet. It has been printed.
It has been,
Really?
uh,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, so do you want to talk about it a bit, or?
Yes, we can, because it was a really nice collaboration in terms of the mise en page. I don't know in English. Mise en page, the graphic design itself. It pushed the experience in the Watchdog experience in the book itself. So.
And that book's going to be available to fans when the game comes out. So all like art crazy fans are going to be able to pick it up and just see how the inspiration, all of this came
Yeah,
together.
the team is really proud of.
And what's cool about that book also is that there's final concept art, but there's also whips in those in this book. You can see like we're talking about Clara, or talking about Aiden. You can see some iterations.
Okay, and
about
progression
those.
between
Yeah.
all. Yeah, that's
So
cool.
that's a cool element for fans and collectors.
Cool. And this brings me a bit to my next topic that I wanted to talk about with you guys. And this is, from what we've been seeing so far, there seemed to be some kind of fascination with logos. I mean, of course, there's the Aiden's logo that's on the hat, and that you see like in different wallpapers and images over the web, and that's also there's the logo on the mask, and then there's a logo on his back. Any particular meaning or purpose to all those? Like, I don't want to name them all because some of them we've seen, but we haven't
there's meaning
explained.
to all of them. Like it's part of the symbolism of every It's the world we're living in right now, right?
Yeah.
We're exposed to so many logos, even people brand themselves, like, and since the beginning, like, we explored the idea that every single character is going to have her logo or his logo or his visual signature, like, as whatever it's going to be at the end. But every, like, characters need those little elements to be recognizable, and they contribute a lot to the characters.
And what is cool about that is the fact that you can put all of them next to each other and they all like fit all together. And it's pretty amazing. Yeah.
I don't even think I've seen them all. Like, I think I like what I'm seeing so far. That's for sure.
If we're talking about the Fox logo, like, the Fox logo came out when we designed the last version of Aiden, and I think I was making some little doodles like with the W of Watch Dogs and trying to make it fit with like a little fox face, like a little dog like / fox, because Aiden is partly based on, you know, the like at Ubisoft we have this process of designing a character based on animals. Like Assassin was based on like an eagle. Sam Fisher, I think Sam Fisher was based on a panther, like with how he moves, how stylish he is, and we like the idea of Aiden based on like a fox.
All right.
Since a fox is not a brute force, like he's not. He's more like smart. He's sneaky, like, and that's why Aiden is not like he's not that typical like muscular like hero. He's more like he likes to outsmart his opponent, and we linked him together with the fox. And when we like drawing his logo and stuff like that, like we tried to identify like a little like fox logo like that at the beginning, and then it grew on everyone. It grew, and it kind of became like the Watch Dogs, almost official logo. But that's not for me to say.
Well, I think so far from what I've seen online, I know fans are really enjoying it, and that was a question that was asked so many times.
Yeah, there's a lot of response to that. People
Yes,
are really, really digging it, and they find it's kind of cool to be able to integrate it into stuff that they see, or to immediately know that something is Watch Dogs when they see it, even if they don't see necessarily Aiden or the logo.
Yeah.
And we try to make it as simple as possible, because a good logo or a good symbol is so minimalistic and so like distinctive that everyone can try and draw it. Like,
Yeah,
if somebody,
it's easy to replicate.
Yeah.
I can't draw, and I can make it.
If somebody sees the logo and then can, after a few hours, can redraw it, like I think the guy the girl that designed the logo has succeeded. Like, she succeeded, or he succeeded. So we tried like that approach to every character and and their logo. But I won't go through all the logos, because some are really like they kind of reveal a little bit their true natures, and some characters from the game have not been like publicized or
there won't
been
be any
revealed.
spoilers in this podcast.
Well, also, I guess relating to design and stuff like that and iconic imagery, like there's a lot of really cool street art and kind of some posters and vandalism and stuff. With especially the street art style, like, is that mostly rooted in just building the world and the ambiance of it and the feeling, or is that like something that players can look out for and kind of supports the narrative?
Ganz genau. Und ich bin wirklich
About
auf dem
street
Haus.
art, yes, it's both.
Denn Watch Dogs bietet vielfältiges Gameplay, das so viel kann man schon mal sagen.
We won't give
Wir befinden uns am Anfang des Spiels. Agent P ist der Hauptcharakter
messages
von Watch Dogs
on the
mit einer
game.
Anruf
It was
vom
about
ominösen Bad Boy
overconsumption or
Agent
was
P
about
weiß da
the
noch
technology
nicht,
and
wer
social
Bad Boy eigentlich
aspect.
ist. Das wird
They
aber
are
ziemlich schnell
omnipresent
geklärt. Wir wollen aber
in
keine Details
our
verraten.
Chicago. So
Jedenfalls
Okay, so
ist
it's always,
das
people are going to
der
get, I guess, the sense of the
diese
world based on that.
Welt der Vernetzung,
Yeah, it's a good way for
der
us to give
totalen,
a
digitalen
flavor to our
Ausbreitung.
world.
Und Aiden Pierce hat
It's
eben
cool to
die
design like
Fähigkeiten, dass
a
er mit
like a
seinem
super
Smartphone auf
photorealistic
viele
game.
Dinge
Like
in der
it's a
Umgebung
nice challenge on
zugreifen
its
kann,
own.
wie man
It's
hier auch
also
schon
cool
sehen
to
kann.
find like
Er
cool
kann also
like
direkt die
narrative
NPCs
layers just to give
scannen. Die
flavor.
NPCs sind nicht nur
to the
einfach nur
world.
blöde Figuren, die
Give
durch die Gegend laufen wie bei
give
so
some
vielen anderen Spielen.
some
sondern
identity
hier gibt es
to
wirklich
each
die-
district
eine
on the
Funktion.
game.
Jeder
So
NPC hat eine
it helps a
Funktion.
lot
Man kann eine
also for the player to
Hintergrundgeschichte
know exactly
checken. Hier sieht man beispielsweise,
where
wie ein
he is.
Chat
Okay, so it's almost like a
wird,
shorthand. Like you
ohne
walk
dass
in,
die
you can see
Person
that and go, okay, this is what's happening here, or this is who is rooted here.
Yeah. Actually, we try to make sure
Genau,
that each
Crime
district,
Detective
like
ist quasi
each
so eine
area,
Art
are like
Berechnung, dass es
different
näher
zones
zu einem Verbrechen kommen wird.
And really
Man wird
kudos
also
to the
darauf
concept artists for
hingewiesen, das
creating
hat
all
klar,
these
das wirkt vielleicht so ein
different
bisschen nach
types of street art.
Minority Report,
And you'll notice by
den
each
Film mit Tom
district, each
Cruise.
neighborhood, that it's got a
Und
different flavor,
so
different feel
berechnet
to each
quasi
one of them.
das Smartphone von
Won't give
Aiden,
out too
dass
much, but
irgendwo ein
as you can see, like,
Verbrechen
we
passieren
have
könnte.
a industrial area. And a
Wie
lot,
ist das mit der
a lot of
Spielwelt?
the
Die ist ja
street art there
logischerweise
is
Open World
really
alles.
direct
Ist die
into
riesig
what the
groß,
area is
frei
about.
begehbar von Anfang an
And,
oder wird da
people
irgendwas
who maybe
abgeschirmt
that's
am
in the
Anfang?
Also ich kann natürlich auch aufgrund der anspielbaren Version noch nicht irgendwie
Yeah,
sagen, wie das
that's
jetzt
really
mit
cool
dem
because I found that
Einspiel
when I was
sofort
just
den
walking,
ganzen
through the
Zugriff
city
auf alle
there,
möglichen
I would turn the
Stadtteile
camera around sometimes
Aber
just to
es
stop
war
and
sehr
look at it
frei.
and kind of
Hier
see
sehen wir
what
das
that was representing, kind of draw something from it.
TTOS
It's really,
ist
really cool.
ein
Yeah,
Element,
Sido has done a
das
great job
im Grunde
on
dem
designing a few ideas
Funkturm
also.
bzw. den
My
Outpost
favorite
aus
ones are
Far
like
Cry
the
3
stencil
nahe
ones,
kommt.
like the
Das
ones
heißt, man kann
ones
nicht
that
erst die
are a
ganzen
little bit like
Gespräche
clin d'oeil
abhören, wenn man das
to
TTOS
how
geplant
technology
hat.
has changed a little bit
So,
our
hier sieht man
society
den umfangreichen
and
Skillbaum,
Sido and the
den
concept
Skilltree
artists
mit
like,
den ganzen
they
Skills,
did
die
a
man
great job like
freischalten
designing
kann,
a
wenn
few
man
ideas
eben
like
XP
they really
bekommt und die
And the
dafür
layers here we have
einsetzt, um
one layer.
Skills
It's
zu erweitern.
interesting to
Teilweise
we
gibt es auch
create a lot
Missionen,
ads,
für die man
but
direkt
to
Skill
create
Points
the
bekommt,
layer
ohne dass
of
man
how
vorher die
people
XP sammeln muss
like
durch die Mission
not
oder
gang but the
andere
bad
Aufgaben.
people destroy the ad.
Oh, like the vandalism on top of it, or how they take that message.
And twist we create a double message with one visual. So.
Perspektive anzeigen. Allerdings ist es nicht so detailliert.
Yeah,
es sind eher
cool.
verschwommen.
That brings me a bit to Chicago, because obviously it is the playground for it's the city in which Watch Dogs takes place, and it's a question that's been asked so many times by so many people. And how accurate is our interpretation of your interpretation of the city of Chicago? Without giving too much details, like don't go, it's this big, it's that big, but let's just get a general feeling of is it Chicago? Is it your Chicago? Is it a healthy mix of both?
Aber das Ziel muss dann beispielsweise
Betäubt
This
oder
is, I guess it's a little bit of realistic and a little
fließend,
bit of
flüssig, leicht und direkt.
our flavor.
Das ist auch das Schöne. Das
Yeah,
zeigt für
we've
das ganze
been in
Gameplay von
Chicago
Watch Dogs.
for
Es geht
about
super schnell von der
1
Hand, man hackt ganz schnell
we
beiläufig
did a
irgendwelche
nice
Sachen,
trip there,
explodieren
and
gegen auch.
we had a lot of fun of just
Würdest du also
grab
sagen, am 27.
everything
Mai, wenn es denn nun
we could.
endlich rauskommt,
We
muss
took a
man es
lot
haben
of pictures,
oder sollte man noch
and we
abwarten?
bring back
Man kann zuschlagen, wenn man auf
bring back with a
vielfältiges
lot of
World Gameplay steht, mit
reference,
vielen
like a
Spielinhalten
thousand of reference,
und
and we just put
Online-Multiplayer.
everything in the middle of the table, and we just okay, what is the most important landmark or area in Chicago?
Yes, we visit some industrial neighborhoods like Goose Island, Saint-Marc District. We saw the last Cabrini Green before they have been destroyed. As an example, we saw the most dangerous district in Chicago. It was Inglewood. So we
Just walk by yourself?
no, it was so dangerous.
We had a guide and a policeman, like.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Escorted and all?
Yeah.
Wow.
All the time. That trip was really useful. Like it's something that like helps us nail like the soul of the city. Like,
Uh-huh.
it gives us the opportunity to like figure the volume, the feeling. It's something to look at Google Street Images, but it's something
Yeah.
else to go in there and live it and see it by yourself.
It was the same for the sound designer, the director Olivier.
I know it was the first podcast we did, and we spent half an hour talking about just how being immersed in the city really helps to capture like the exactly like
and we went
Matthew
with
said.
with a level designer to director level designer because it was important for us because Chicago, yes, it's in terms of architecture it's really interesting, but in terms of gameplay the level designer need to understand and adapt.
And we were really impressed by the density of the city itself. There's details like every single foot. There's like something there. So that was really helpful to just grab everything for us.
But Chicago, it's a really very beautiful city in terms of architecture. It was a great inspiration for us. Such as Art Deco, Louis Sullivan, the master of Chicago School, also the great Frank Lloyd Wright. There's a lot house from this famous architect. We had many references about the Prairie School, and we get inspiration from Frank Gehry with like a Pritzker Pavilion in Millennium Park, and also Miss Van der Rohe. They're very famous architects in Chicago, so he helped us a lot.
And we discovered that there's a lot of landmark in this city, so we had to choose.
So many.
So yeah, for the game purpose, we had to choose like which one was the best for the player, the best for everyone on production, and for the gameplay purpose.
Really chose the ones that were really iconic, stuff that really stood out, like the Buckingham Fountain and the Burnett Building. Stuff that really stood out, the actual landmark itself of the river, the canal,
The marina.
All
For
the
sure we had
bridge,
that in the city too,
bridges.
Chicago.
we have
Whatever really stood out of Chicago, what gave its flavor, that's what we had in the game.
But for sure, for the gameplay purpose and for the game itself, we could not like reproduce the exact Chicago, so we had to inspire ourselves and just try to make some shortcut at some place to make sure that it's fun, because sometimes it could be really big and you can drive for hours.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I guess to a certain point, I mean, I've been to Chicago twice, and like I just walking around in the city in the game, I could say, yeah, I've seen that. I've been there. I've stood on that street corner, and it looks. I mean, to my memory, it looks pretty much the same. So kudos to you guys.
Was there anything that like really, like when you were there, was there anything like individually even that you said, man, I can't wait for this to be in the game?
You mean like one?
Like, or any landmarks that you went by, or any areas that you went by
was
that you were like,
really-
I can't wait to see this.
I was struck by the bridges. Like the bridges really impressed me. Like I never saw like a city with those kind of bridges, like those big structures. Like
And
it's
we were
amazing.
pretty lucky because when we went there, like all bridges
Yeah.
open.
Oh, you saw the.
We
We
actually
actually
Yeah.
went there like
Yeah.
the exact same week that every sailboats like come in like from the city, from the lake, and they come into the canal to go into their like warehouse to be like entreposé for the winters. And we saw all the bridges like go up, and we were running with our camera like trying to like
Just
capture
it all.
the movement, the sound, like everything, like and one funny anecdote, like I was shooting like the bridges coming up, and I saw like a sailboat, and I was in my lens, I saw like a girl, like she was looking like Sidonie. I said like, Sidonie, come here. And then I realized that she was on the boat. she got like a
really?
she got like a nice ride like from.
Yeah, Chicagoans are really, really nice people because it's they invite people because I took picture on the canal and say, oh, come on the board, and you will see better the
So she got like the view from the boats, like with the bridges that were opening.
So I stay all the day with them, and I saw the industrial, how they park the boat after in the garage, and it's in the warehouse. It was really interesting.
The place where we were really amazed is the top of the Hancock building. So we went in the top, like there's a restaurant like up there. You can drink and you can look at the view of Chicago. It was really nice place to go. Yeah, and that helped a little bit. Of course.
And for me, it was the architecture in Chicago. It's really nice city to see. Maybe one of the most beautiful city in the USA.
can't wait to explore it by myself.
Some districts were really like also memorable, like in terms of like the wards. Like it's something like to live it, like to go and see it, to actually like go in through the streets and there's like only silence, like there's nothing, and you can hear like dog barks, like the bell train pass,
Baby
and
crying.
there's something like special about those places.
Or whatever. So we feel pretty much the vibe in Inglewood when we went there. So it was really kind of surprising, let's say. Okay. Yeah.
All right, well, that's great. I just want to end this with we'll just go around the table and something it's personal for me, but I want to know where you guys are from, where you guys get your inspiration, in general, just because it helps me understand the game a bit. It's a secret. No, but I mean, where do you get it? How do you get? Is there any place that you get into before you, let's say, create, or is it something that comes to you, or is it?
For me, I think it's different for everybody, but for me, it comes at irregular times and never when I want it.
No, rarely.
Always
On
in the
my
shower?
motorcycle, in the shower, like stuff like that. It's always
Where it's
like,
easy to write it down, right?
No, it's never when you have your iPad or.
No, never.
But we've done a lot of brainstorm all together, so that helps a lot just to bring all the idea on paper and on Post-it. So we have some process that help just Post-it, yeah, the one. Yeah, so we use that technique a lot just to bring everything on the table, and after that we'll have to sit together and say, okay, what is the best for the gameplay, what is the best for level design, for every department, just to help, just to narrow everything and make sure that everything is
because
best for everyone.
You guys have your hands in pretty much every facet of the game, right? You just mentioned level design and gameplay and everything, so you have to think of everything. You're not just sitting down with your pen and paper and going like, I'm drawing nice pictures. And
we're doing a game first, so it's not the movie, it's not only just visual. So we have to think about every department, make sure that everything is happy with. And we started like building that like about 5 years ago, kind of. So we started at the beginning. It was really just try to make something that can drive and
Prototypes,
prototype stuff. Yeah,
Lots of trial and error, that's for sure.
yeah. And also one of the things that helped us to decide that Chicago was probably the best city for us. We got this kind of always. Not feature, let's say, but more like a idea of hacking stuff on a city, and this idea is there since almost the beginning. So we had this idea to just manipulate some stuff in the city, and the bridge itself was one of the prototypes we've done like about 3 or 4 years ago, and we really liked the idea of just raise a bridge and then just create a jump. So it was this idea. And actually, when we like discovered Chicago a little bit more, we just saw that there's so much bridge to open there. So we just get, this is maybe something interesting to just base on and see what we can like develop around it. And everyone was really, really, and we just discovered
it's
Chicago.
a level designer's paradise.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, the underground. So. All those aspects was really helpful for a lot of department on the game, so that's why we're just focusing on this one a little bit more.
All right, well, that's all the time we have. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for joining us. That was
It's been fun.
really interesting. And then we'll keep an eye out for the art book also that comes out with the game. And that's it. If you have any questions or comments on this podcast, hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Google Plus, all of them. Everything is connected. Thanks a lot again, and thanks for joining us. And see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.